Bonjour tout le monde et bienvenue le 76e Grand Prix de Pau. There, told you I was good at French. Hello everybody, welcome to the streets of Pau in the Pyrenees here in the gorgeous Mediterranean sunshine. It's the big one, the 76th Grand Prix of Pau. It's an amazing day here. 31 degrees track temperature, the air temperature 25, and we've got a little bit of a breeze pushing in over the mountains, and it's going to give us one of the most incredible races, hopefully, we are going to see all season from the FIA Formula 3 European Championship, and it's the big one, the jewel in the crown of Formula 3 racing. Hello everybody, Jake Sanson here on the streets of Pau, enjoying the basking glory of this Mediterranean sunshine, and what a day, what a weekend we've had so far. Race 1 winner yesterday, Joel Eriksson in fine style. The Race 2 winner earlier this morning, Maximilian Günther of Germany. But it's all down to one British hero to turn his pole position for the second race in as many attempts into a race victory. The boy wonder, the man who can do no wrong, and the championship leader coming into this one, Lando Norris. He is on pole position for the second race in a row here after his astonishing efforts in qualifying yesterday, banging two very quick laps in to get the ultimate pole position for both races, a 109.0 and a 109.3, good enough to be pole position. All of the grid positions for this race was determined by their second best qualifying laps in yesterday's second qualifying session, which means that ultimately this is about consistency. Drivers are in better positions in some cases than they were in race 2, and in other cases in worse. For one man in particular, it's a bit of an opportunity to come back and rejuvenate himself after banging into the wall yesterday at high speed. Joey Mawson was right up in the top 6 yesterday and threw it away, unfortunately, in the drizzly conditions we had yesterday. No rain at all to speak of here today, but this man, Lando Norris, is looking good for what could be a victory on the streets of Pau, and this is a very, very important day for him. He wants to make sure that he extends his lead in the championship, which is now 10 points, courtesy of his main championship rival and race 1 winner yesterday, Joel Eriksson, hitting the barriers in race 2 at the Foch chicane, and that was enough to end his run as championship leader. Lando Norris now leading the standings by 10 points. But the man alongside Lando Norris on the front of the grid is just as determined to make the Pau Grand Prix his own. And as you can see here, the fans are all gathering in their hundreds and thousands around the streets of Pau. I cannot describe for you in that much detail just how astonishing the fans' response has been this weekend. They've been here all weekend, right the way from Friday morning and all the way through to midnight last night when we had the Clios out on circuit. Maximilian Günther, fresh from his race 2 victory, spoke to him shortly after the victory. He is absolutely elated with the way his race planned out, and he's just hoping for exactly the same. A good start versus Lando Norris, bang in the first corner, and hopefully he'll never be beaten. But it's easy to say that, it's even harder to do it, but he has done it once already. On the second row of the grid, should be a very interesting one, this. Callum Millett, who's still ruining the mistake he made yesterday in race 1. While leading, he went off on the exit of the Foch chicane, clattered the barriers, and threw away what could have been a potential race victory. Now he knows that he's got a great opportunity to restore himself. He got a podium earlier. He was relatively satisfied with the points he banked, but he's hoping for a little bit more than that in race 3, the big one, the Pau Grand Prix. They've been racing here since 1933 in various different guises, in various different championships, from Formula 1 to Formula 3000, the World Touring Car Championship and Formula 3, and this is one of the most incredible, phenomenal, exceptional racing events. Joel Eriksson, who won race 1 yesterday, hoping to get himself back on the podium again. He has forgotten race 2. It's a distant memory. He didn't hit the barrier. He's not even thinking about it. He's just getting on with the job in race 3. To give you an idea of how partisan the fans are and how the atmosphere has continued over the last few decades, I decided to catch up with somebody who knows, who won this event a few years ago. I say a few years ago, it's probably going to feel like a lot longer than that to him, but he's here promoting his new book. Patrick Tambay, the French Formula 1 legend for Ferrari, is here, and he was telling me earlier, this event hasn't changed at all in 30 years. It's still the biggest, the best at this level. Harrison Newey, fresh off the back of 4th position in race 1, his best result of the season. He wants more than that in race 2. He feels really confident now. The car is starting to feel really strong underneath him. He's got a good chance here to get himself amongst the podium finishers, as hopefully has the man alongside him, who should have been in the top 3 as far as he's concerned. He was 3rd when he had his accident Joey Mawson, that man there on the left-hand side of your picture, the 96, Joey Mawson, the Australian, is hoping to make sure that this time he doesn't clatter any barriers at all and should have a good day at the office as a result of it. But Joey Mawson wants to make sure that there are no mistakes, and hopefully that means that he will have a really competitive race. Behind him are the two high-tech Grand Prix teammates, Ralph Aaron and Nikita Mazepan, the Russian, who have been pretty much locked together all weekend in various guises. There is Joey Mawson, the Australian, ready for another crack at it. Could easily have been third yesterday. He didn't get a great qualifying session for the first race, but for the second race, his times were so consistent, he's able to actually put it up in the top 6 for this third race of the weekend. But it's going to be a really interesting one. Who is going to win the 76th Po Grand Prix? If the planets align ever so nicely, this man could be on the podium. Estonia's Ralph Aaron from Tallinn. He's been really strong. That was an impressive second race of the weekend earlier today. Got himself into the top 6 in front of Jake Hughes, who starts alongside Ferdinand Habsburg on the 5th row of the starting grid. Ralph Aaron and Nikita Mazepan together on row 4. Outside the top 10, well, there's some interesting faces. Tadasuke Makino's doing better in 11th position as we look at Nikita Mazepan in 8th position on the grid, the Russian. Alongside Tadasuke Makino is Jake Dennis, who starts a very disappointing 12th from his point of view, who'll be making his final start in the FIA Formula 3 European Championship, his 75th and final start in the championship before he switches his focus back to the world of sports car racing. Then on the 7th row of the starting grid is Pedro Piquet and the Chinese driver Guan Yu Zhou, who of course nowadays is based over in Maranello as a Ferrari Racing Academy driver. Row 8 of the grid is a double German combination here. David Beckmann in the 55. He will start there for Van Amersfoort Racing alongside the Prema driver Mick Schumacher, who starts all the way down in 16th on the grid after a disappointing second best lap time in qualifying yesterday afternoon. So he will start this race from all the way back on row 8, I'm afraid to say. And Mick Schumacher has already basically stated, I'm not here for the victory, I just want some good points. And even from 16th position, that could be a struggle. Jahan Darawala, he hit the barriers yesterday in the end of second qualifying and was not able to improve upon his better times as a result of that, so he starts this race from 17th on the starting grid, I'm afraid to say. Marino Sato will start 18th and Kevin Andres will start 19th. That is about normal for those two at this particular point. The trouble is the championship is so competitive that a couple of drivers have to be at the back of the grid all the time, and on this particular occasion it's Kevin Andres and Marino Sato for the third race in a row. 1 minute and moteur. Start your engines is reduced to one word on the streets of Po, moteur. So let's get racing for the 76th Grand Prix de Po. This is not just another race to these drivers. This is the jewel in the crown of Formula 3 in 2017. This is the race everybody wants to win. It's one of the most incredible, toughest, and most unbelievably challenging races you're ever going to find in the world of motor racing. And if you win this one, you join an unbelievable list of winners who have won this in its various guises since it was first run in 1933. Just take a look at some of the drivers. If I list a few of them, you'll get an idea of how important this race really is. Tazio Nuvolari, Juan Manuel Fangio, Alberto Ascari, Jean Berra, Maurice Trintignant, Jack Brabham, Jim Clark, Jochen Rindt, Jackie Stewart, Francois Sever, Jacques Lafitte, René Arnoux. Who else can I list? Johnny Cicotto, Eddie Cheever, Mike Thackwell, Christian Danner, Yannick Dalmas, Jean Alesi. As we go around on the green flag lap, Juan Pablo Montoya has won twice here. Gilles de Ferran has won here. Anthony Davidson, Nicolas Lapierre, Lewis Hamilton in 2005 when it was the Formula 3 Euro Series. Romain Grosjean, touring car drivers have won here. Alain Menu, Andy Priaulx, Rob Huff, Augusto Farfus. And in the last 3 years, it's been absolutely phenomenal. We've had Felix Rosenqvist, Antonio Giovinazzi, Alessio Lorandi, and in the last 2 years, it's been about Carlin. So, will a Carlin driver, namely potentially Lando Norris, win it for the 3rd year in a row? It could well be another Carlin day. So here's the grid. Lando Norris alongside Maxi Günther. Callum Illett and Joel Eriksson on the 2nd row of the grid. Harrison Newey and Joey Mawson are together on the 3rd row with the high-tech Grand Prix drivers Ralph Aaron and Nikita Mazepan sharing row 4. Ferdinand Habsburg, the birthday boy, 20 today, lines up beside Jake Hughes. Tadasuke Makino and Jake Dennis are together on row 6 with Pedro Piquet and Guan Yu Zhou on the 7th row. The Germans, David Beckmann and Mick Schumacher are on row 8 with Jahan Darawala, Kevin Andres Suri and Marino Sato completing the grid. It's going to be a really tough one for the likes of Schumacher and Darawala, who are way down the order compared to where we expect them to be. They're going to have to fight their way through, and on the streets of Po, it's incredibly difficult. Those drivers would probably have wanted rain to maybe shift the balance a little bit, maybe shake things up. But as it turns out, this third race, the big one, the Po Grand Prix, is the hottest, the brightest, the sunniest, and the most beautiful of the races we have had so far. It's perfect conditions. As you can see, the fans are clamoring all over the circuit, from the Avenue Lyonnais, all lined up along the Avenue de Boulevard, up at the top of the hill, lining up around the hairpin at Pont Oscar, which is the only corner on the race circuit, by the way, on the first lap, which will be under yellow flag conditions. It's so tight on that first lap as the cars wheel their way through. Every single championship has been under yellow flag conditions for the second corner only. So they've got one race corner, the first turn, La Gare, where they'll be racing. Then they'll go up the Avenue Lyonnais. Then they'll be under yellow flags for that first lap only. Then they can go for an overtaking move on lap 2 or lap 3 if they so wish. And on the second lap, in the second race, Lando Norris tried to get past Maxi Günther, but he's going to be absolutely determined to make sure at the start that Maxi Günther does not come through. So, Lando Norris, Maxi Günther, Callum Ilott, Joel Eriksson, Harrison Newey, Joey Mawson, Ralph Aaron, Nikita Mazepin, Ferdinand Habsburg and Jake Hughes, Makino, Dennis, Piquet, Zhou, Beckman, Schumacher, Darawala, Sato and Andres, who takes up his position at the back of the grid now. We have all 19 cars ready to go. Green flag waves at the back of the field. The 76th Po Grand Prix is... go! Great start by Lando Norris. He slices right across, but Günther's ready for him as he switches to the other side. Lando Norris now sweeps through towards La Gare for the first time. Is he going to hold the lead? Yes, he does, but it's going to be a challenging start as Harrison Newey looks to make a move up the inside of Joel Eriksson. I think he's got through. Yes, Harrison Newey's through in a fourth position past Joel Eriksson as the whole field now filters through down towards the Pont Oscar for the first time through the yellow flag section, and Lando Norris has broken clear in the lead. Exactly what he wanted from this race. He's been second twice in race 1 and race 2, not in race 3, not as far as he's concerned, as they legally say, and sweep through Casino. Norris leads it, Günther in second, Ilott is third, Newey is fourth. It's Brits 1, 3 and 4 at the moment. Great start though from Harrison Newey in particular. He surges forward past Joel Eriksson, who's now down to 5th. This is a nightmare for the Swede as his main championship opposition, Lando Norris, is already starting to stretch the advantage and look for 25 points and the Po Grand Prix, whilst he is down in 5th position, looking only at the moment for 10 points. That will extend Lando Norris's lead in the entire championship race to 25 points if it stays like this. That's an entire victory. But Lando Norris is away clear, exactly how he wanted it. Günther in second, Callum Ilott is third, Newey in fourth from Eriksson, and Ralph Aaron is in 6th position. Another cracking start from him. Joey Mawson has slipped back into 8th position behind Nikita Mazepin. Jake Hughes is up to 9th in front of Ferdinand Habsburg. Makino, Piquet, Dennis, Zhou, Beckman, Schumacher, Darawala, Andres and Sato is the rest of the field. So we're green flag conditions around the rest of the circuit. The bone dry, beautiful conditions overlooking the Pyrenees as the fans are flocking to make sure they've got their eyes peeled on the best overtaking moves. Harrison Newey's already pulled off a flyer at the start. Joel Eriksson down to 5th position. Yesterday was a fairy tale. Today, it's hardship. Through Casino, through to Park Beaumont. This is where Joey Mawson and Jake Dennis clouted the wall yesterday. Not today, hopefully. They drop through the faux chicane. Round the left through the Avenue de General Pomereux, and then up towards the Buisson hairpin. All going well at the moment at the front end of the field. Lando Norris is already starting to drop the hammer. He's done a 23.7 in the first sector, a 32.2 in the second. That's 0.2 of a second on both sectors, clear of everybody. Lando Norris wants to dominate on the streets of Po, and he's going about it exactly the right way. Look at the gap he's already building up. 15.0 in the third sector compared to Günther on a 15.2. Callum Illott's going quicker than him though, so Callum Ilott is actually tightening up to the back of Günther as Eriksson tries to close up on Harrison Newey as well. But the gap between Norris and Günther is already steady at 1.8 seconds. Absolutely phenomenal. Lando Norris then looking good for the victory and to take a big lead in the championship if it stays like this. Joel Eriksson knows he's got to find a way past Harrison Newey to try and claim back some points, but if he gets a little bit hasty trying to get past Harrison Newey, he's got Ralph Aaron right behind him. And more than one of the drivers earlier on today were telling me we were cautious in race 1 because of the conditions, but it was still very treacherous. In race 2, we were trying to protect our cars. Race 3, let's just get on with it. This is our chance. We're going to go for it. So plenty of drivers will be pushing the limits to try and move up the order. Now let's have a look at the start once again. This is textbook from Norris. Look, he just surges across, makes sure that Gunter is held up, and that's all he needs. But watch Harrison Newey behind as he slots onto the inside line of Joel Eriksson. That's the critical overtaking maneuver to watch. We didn't quite get to see that, but there is Newey. Currently the cork in the bottle as Joel Eriksson is desperately trying to get back through, and Ralph Aaron is in there as well, but Newey has dropped 1.7 seconds off the back of Callum Illett, who's closing in on Gunter. New fastest lap from Lando Norris, who does a 1:10.4 this early in the race. That is astonishing. Compared to everybody else who's on a 1:10.9 or a 1:11. Lando Norris wants to win this race early as Harrison Newey has to defend big time from Joel Eriksson, slides across the apex. Manages to get himself in a position neatly there through Casino. Sweeping round, very easy to get this wrong. Tucks into Park Beaumont. They've got shadows to contend with at the braking zone. It can be very easy to second guess yourself as they drop through the faux chicane. Left, right, left again into the Avenue de General Pomereux, and then down to the Buisson hairpin. Now, Joel Eriksson needs to size up an opportunity here on Harrison Newey. He knows he's not going to have it easy, but Harrison Newey is definitely holding him up. Newey getting the better start, but Joel Eriksson has more pace, and he will know that at this early stage. Yet more purple sectors for Lando Norris. He's done a 1:10.3 on that lap. Absolutely astonishing as Lando Norris is just blasting away. He knows this is his best chance ever of winning the Pau Grand Prix. He stretched the gap to 2.6 seconds after 4 laps. He wants this victory, and he is going to dominate as far as he's concerned. He's already through Pont Oscar by the time Maxi Gunter and Callum Illett are turning in. But this is the real battle. Harrison Newey in 4th position in front of Joel Eriksson. Race 1 winner yesterday. Joel Eriksson really wants to get this back together. But now that we've got Ralph Aaron closing in, the other man in the equation is Joey Mawson in 7th position. So it's a 4-way scrap. Newey, Eriksson, Aaron, Mawson. Through Park Beaumont. Now we should see a little bit more action all the way through the field this time, because drivers are not going to be quite so cautious. They are just going to get on with it. If there's a gap to get through, if there's an opportunity, they are going to take it. Some drivers might well be thinking about their championship situation. For Joel Eriksson, he's already going to lose 15 points to Lando Norris if the race stays like this, so he's just got to get on with it and see if he can make progress. Newey, Eriksson, Aaron, Mawson. 4th down to 7th, and in 8th position we've got Mazepin trying to get away from Jake Hughes, and Ferdinand Habsburg still rounding out the top 10 from Makino, Piquet, Dennis, Zhou, Beckman, Schumacher, Darawala, Andres and Sato. But it's important that Schumacher stays in front of Darawala, because Schumacher will want to be 2nd in the rookie category. So Schumacher is going for the runner-up spot in the rookie category, the leader in the, 3rd position in the rookie category, I should say, of course, because Joey Mawson is there in 7th position, and he would be looking for 7th in the race at the moment, but 2nd in the rookie category. Leader of the rookie category is the man leading the race with a new best lap as well, 1 minute 10.124. He is going to break into the 109s at this pace. Lando Norris is just getting on with it. Absolutely incredible pace, and he's increased the gap to 3.1. No major changes up front at the moment. Everything all stable in the midfield as well. The positions are pretty much unchanged. But what's going to be really interesting is Tadasuke Makino is now starting to hold up the field a little bit in 11th position. He's got Pedro Piquet, Jake Dennis, Guan Yu Zhou, Beckman, Mick Schumacher and Johan Darawala, all fairly close to him. So 11th position downwards. That's an interesting little tussle. And as the race continues on with 25.5 to go, some drivers are going to want to push it. Now that's Ralph Aaron making a mistake through Gare as they come up the Avenue Lyonnais. This is an opportunity for Joey Mawson, and he knows it. The Australian is going to start having a look at Ralph Aaron. Can't get through. Saw a couple of drivers try and make overtaking moves there earlier. What about Lando Norris round the outside earlier on today at the Pont Oscar? I genuinely wasn't sure if he was going to make it round the corner, but he did. Held on to 2nd position, and now he's blasting away. He doesn't want anybody to battle with him today. The gap opens up again to 3.5 seconds for Lando Norris. He's just belting in fast laps. This was the race he wanted to win. Never mind the 1st or 2nd race, just get good points. He got 2 2nd places, and that really helps him for the championship. But here, in the 3rd event, in the 3rd race, he wants to win. So Norris from Gunter and Illett is the order at the moment. Newey, Eriksson, Aaron, Mawson, Mawson, Mazepan, Hughes and Habsburg to round out the top 10. This fourth position scrap between 4 drivers going really well at the moment. Harrison Newey in the front, Joel Eriksson, Ralph Aaron and Joey Mawson, but they're all tightening up. Expect Eriksson to start challenging Harrison Newey for a way through. He's not going to be content with 5th position, especially when he's got the very feisty Ralph Aaron and Joey Mawson breathing down his neck. They go up the Avenue Léoncé once again. Now we're watching a replay. This is Harrison Newey so nearly losing the race altogether. My goodness me, that is about as close as you can get. And Ralph Aaron makes the move on Joel Eriksson, sorry. I almost called him Jimmy. Joel Eriksson's now got Joey Mawson to his right. Now Lando Norris tried this earlier on and it didn't work. Joey Mawson hits the wall and surely that is game over. That's going to be rear suspension damage for the 3rd race in a row. Joey Mawson tried to keep his foot in and it wasn't going to work. Well, he hasn't retired from the race yet, but Mazepan is definitely a lot closer than he was. And I wonder if Joey Mawson has been able to get away with that. We'll find out. At the moment, Mawson looks okay, actually. Car hasn't lost any speed, he hasn't lost any positions. But Joel Eriksson loses the place confident. Oh no, that is the 55 in the barriers. That's Beckman. David Beckman's gone into the barriers at Foch. So that is a problem for David Beckman. He's gone off at exactly the same place as Joel Eriksson went off in race 2. So Beckman has gone off the circuit, trying to stay with the battle. And that is going to be a problem, and it looks as though the car is wedged in quite a long way to the barriers. Now I wonder how he did that. Harrison Newey in front of Ralph Aaron, Joel Eriksson, Joey Mawson, and now Mawson is actually starting to struggle. Safety car, safety car. Well, for Lando Norris, this is a nightmare. Because if it was full course yellow, they'd keep their positions, but they'd not reduce the gap. But it's safety car. So that is a big problem for Lando Norris. All that hard work, 4.2 seconds of a gap he'd built up over Maxi Günther, all of that is now undone. So he's got to do it all over again when the race restarts. If we went to full course yellow, he would pretty much keep the lead. Now this is a replay of Mawson trying to go around the outside of Joel Eriksson. The back end steps out, he's on the dust, bang, hits the curb. How that car is not out of the race yet, I don't know. But that's David Beckman walking away, so he's unhurt, that's good. But what I really want to see is how David Beckman ended up in the wall. We haven't seen that yet. There's Lando Norris cursing his luck. So let's see if Lando Norris is going to be able to rebuild this gap when the race restarts. The safety car picks them up, but David Beckman is out of the race. Now, we shouldn't be behind the safety car for too long here because it's at the point of the circuit where the cranes are pretty efficient. And there you go, the car is already up in the air. What's going to be the thing that takes the time is putting the barrier back into its position, but that's not going to be too long. I would not be surprised if we're only under safety car for 1 lap. 2 laps if you count the last one, that obviously the field was neutralised and they had to pick it up. So we are not going to be behind the safety car for long, but obviously this is the Pau Grand Prix and the fans came for a show and they're going to get one. So David Beckman's car is craned off the circuit, and unfortunately for David, he is still yet to score in the 2017 season. He will not do that here this weekend at Pau either. Safety car in this lap. I told you, we're going to get a show. Now this is going to be interesting because the one man who's going to be on the move straight away as a result of the safety car only being out for 1 lap is going to be Joel Eriksson. He's down to 6th position now, which means that the gap, if it stays like this, between himself and Lando Norris is going to be 27 points. He's going to come into the week. He came into the weekend a point ahead of Norris. He's going to leave it, if it stays like this, 27 points ahead as the lights go out on the safety car and Lando Norris is getting ready to go again. Now, Joel Eriksson was pretty good on the restarts yesterday in race 1. We didn't have any safety car periods in race 2 because it was quite tame. Are we going to get any more safety car periods in this race? I'm not sure, actually. Because it was quite tame up until that point. They make their way to the chicane. Lando Norris, I think, has dropped the hammer. I think we're going for it. Now, what's Günther done? Well, Günther's gone with him, but Norris has got a good lead already. That's 2 car lengths. That could be enough. Now watch for Callum Millett because he's going to be charging after his teammate Maxi Günther. Joel Eriksson is trying to heat up the tyres, and already Ralph Aaron is going to try and have a look at Harrison Newey. He's up alongside him. He's going to try and go right round the outside of the Lycée. Ralph Aaron is going to try and squeeze it in. This is a great run from the Estonian. Side by side with Harrison Newey. Up to the Pontoska, he's on the inside line. And Ralph Aaron's through. Great move from Ralph Aaron. So Aaron up into P4. He can sense the podium's coming. He closes up on Calamilla to the Lise. The car snaps a little bit there as up the inside. That's a bold move on the inside line there from the 27 of Darawala, but he makes it stick. And I think that's Mick Schumacher he's got past. So that's an important one. Now, hang on a minute, because we've had Mawson and Hughes come into the pits. So Mawson in trouble. Now, that has got to be because of the brush with the wall earlier. So Joey Mawson with problems, but Jake Hughes has been in the pits as well, and I'm not entirely sure why that is. But Jake Hughes has rejoined the circuit. And unfortunately, I didn't see what happened to Jake Hughes to make that happen. But here is Lando Norris, leading away from Maxi Günther already. Callum Millett in third. Ralph Aaron is on the crest of a wave here in fourth position, running beautifully in front of Harrison Newey and Joel Eriksson. Joel Eriksson trying to close back up on Harrison Newey. He's got an opportunity here, and he knows it. Needs to try and gain back some points if he can. What if Lando Norris DNFs and he wins? The championship would be level. So he's going to have to give it everything he's got, and he is pushing hard to try and make it happen. This is going to be so tough for Joel Eriksson. He knows he's got to throw caution to the winds here. He's got to give it the best shot possible. But how hard do you push? Where do you settle for points? And where do you actually make the push? It's going to be so difficult to judge. He's got to be very careful about how he plans this. But Harrison Newey holding the position in front of Joel Eriksson at the moment. Just to give you an update on Lando Norris, out in the lead. He's already 0.8 of a second clear of Maxi Günther, so he's already getting on with this, and it looks like once again we are going to get 3 different winners from the 3 races, just as we had at Silverstone, just as we had at Monza. And what we're hoping is going to happen for the rest of the season. Of course, we go to the Hungaroring next on the 17th and 18th of June. And there's going to be a lot more opportunities to overtake there. But the drivers are obviously going to want to run very smoothly throughout. Now, that is Darawala in front of Mick Schumacher. So he did get through there at the Lise hairpin. And that's really caused Schumacher some difficulties, because he's now back in 14th position and dropping time big style. Now that is Joey Mawson having come out of the pits and coming back in again. I think his race is over. And I wouldn't be too surprised if Jake Hughes has done the same. Yeah, it's game over for Joey. What a miserable, miserable, miserable weekend. 3rd position taken away on race 1, with the car ending up in the barriers. Race 2, well, that was a bit of a write-off as well. And then sadly, game over in the 3rd. Damage on all 3 occasions, and this is not the Joey Mawson we know either. Joey Mawson is the reigning champion in ADAC Formula 4. He's an incredible racing driver, but he's had no luck here at Po at all. Look at the gap Norris has pulled out on Maxi Günther already. He's just done a 1:10.6 compared to Günther on a 1:11.1. Norris is determined. This is going to be his victory as far as he's concerned. Nobody else has a chance. This is absolutely stunning. Even by his standards, this is great driving. And if Formula 1 doesn't sit up and pay attention to him after this, I don't know what they will pay attention to him for. McLaren Junior, triple champion last year. He won in the Formula Renault NEC, Euro Cup and Toyota Racing Series, all in one season. Absolutely phenomenal performance. Having won in the British-based MSA Formula, now known as British Formula 4, the year before. Everything he touches, he wins. So it looks like the Po Grand Prix, the 76th running of it, could go to Lando Norris. But there's still a long way to go, 15.5 minutes plus a lap. So he's got to keep it running all the way through. Many a driver has led at Po and ended up going into the wall. So he's got to be very focused, very careful. He can't afford to push it too far. He's just got to keep on banging in corner after corner. He knows that ultimately here, you don't have to be the fastest driver around the Po Grand Prix circuit, but you do have to be the smoothest, just staying in front. Carlin are poised for their 3rd win in a row, and they know it, nudging each other. We could do this, we could do this. It's been an absolutely incredible run for the team so far in the Po Grand Prix. They've had an absolutely amazing record here at Po over the last 3 seasons, and they want to keep it going. Their man, Antonio Giovinazzi, won the third race in 2015 and has since gone on to be the Sauber Formula One reserve. And of course, he did 2 races earlier this season. Alessio Lorandi was the winner in the third race last season as well at Po to win the Po Grand Prix. And of course, he's now racing in the GP3 series. It's time for Lando Norris to shine for Carlin, and he is doing so at the moment. 2 seconds clear of Maxi Günther, with Callum Millett in third, Ralph Aaron in fourth, and this is the battle for 5th position. Harrison Newey and Joel Eriksson. Joel Eriksson will be so frustrated being in P6. I won yesterday, for goodness sake. What am I doing in P6? As into the barriers has gone Kevin Andres. And that is at the Faux chicane. He's done a lot of damage, but I think that should be pretty quick. Let's have a look at how he did it. That's Mick Schumacher going through. Whoops! Oh, he broke the suspension on the inside corner, on the inside barrier on the way into the Faux chicane. Once you hit that barrier, you're on a one-way collision course with the tyre wall on the outside, and that car is already in the air. So Kevin Andres' weekend, a rather disappointing one, I'm afraid, comes to a close. So we've lost David Beckman, we've lost Jake Hughes, we've lost Joey Mawson, and we've lost Kevin Andres. I'm afraid I don't know what happened to Jake Hughes. I apologise, we didn't see that. But I'm sure we'll find out in due course. 13 minutes and 15 seconds or so to go, plus 1 lap. As Ralph Aaron is actually stepping up his game here. He's gone faster in the first sector than Callum Millett by 0.2 of a second. Ralph Aaron wants to be on the podium here. I'm trying to recall the last time an Estonian has been on the podium of the Po Grand Prix. I'm not sure it's happened, so he could be the first. Last year it was Lorandi, Stroll and Russell. Lance Stroll and George Russell, of course, both of whom are in the Formula One paddock. Lance is a Williams driver, George Russell is a Mercedes reserve. Antonio Giovinazzi won the year before. So I want to see now if it's possible that we're going to see an Estonian on the podium. And as far as Callum Millett is concerned, that is not going to happen. Not if he's got anything to say about it. But how hard do you push? How hard do you wear out the tyres trying to keep the man behind you at bay? At the moment, Harrison Newey is having a similar problem. Joel Eriksson breathing down his neck. Through to the casino, they blast through the left-hander, through to the Parc Beaumont, past the Café de Grand Prix, and down towards the Faux chicane once again. There's enough damage on the inside. They need to be very careful of how they go across the Faux chicane now. But it all looks good at the moment for Newey in front of Eriksson. 5th and 6th position. They continue to pound around the circuit, pushing hard. This is the race where the drivers are throwing caution to the winds. Race 1 and race 2, they had to be careful. They had to get themselves into a good position. They had to use the car as much as they could in qualifying. Now they can just push and go for it, and they will do so. Oh, this is a great scrap. This is Nikita Mazepin about to lose the place to the 62. Habsburg gets through. That's a great move for Ferdinand Habsburg. I think Mazepin's got a problem. Must have hit the wall somewhere, because through goes Makino, through goes Piquet, and I think Nikita Mazepin is in trouble. Jake Dennis is going to go through as well. Now, what has happened to the Russian Nikita Mazepin? I didn't quite see what happened, but maybe he's just brushed the wall on the way out of the chicane. That is exactly what happened to... I'm trying to remember who it was that told me they brushed the wall on the far side. That was what happened to Joel Eriksson earlier on. That's how he hit the wall in race 2. He brushed the right front, the left front on the wall on the final turn, apparently he was telling me, and they were monitoring it for 5 laps, and then the suspension just snapped, and that's why he went off at the Faux chicane in the mid part of the race with 10 laps to go in race 2. That's how that happened. I wonder if the same has happened to Nikita Mazepin, because he's just tumbling down the order now. But out in front, it's still looking good for Lando Norris. 2.5 seconds clear of Maxi Günther. Callum Millett is getting a lot of hassle now from Ralph Aaron. But this battle is pretty intense as well. This is Tadasuke Makino being caught by Pedro Piquet, and behind them, that is Jake Dennis in his final outing in Formula 3. This is not really the swan song he was hoping for. But Lando Norris just marches on. Maxi Günther in second. Callum Millett still getting pressure from Ralph Aaron. I'd love to see the Estonian give him a push and go for it. And I can genuinely see it happening too. Oh, there he is, Nikita Mazepin. Puncture, that's why. The wheel just dangling on the rim as he brings it back into the pits. Shades of Gilles Villeneuve in 1979 at Zandvoort, but at least it doesn't fall off the car this time. brings it into the pits, and I'm afraid Nikita Mazepin's race has ended up in tatters, and so too has Lando Norris. That's Lando Norris. No! Lando Norris has hit the barrier. His race is over. Lando Norris is out of the Po Grand Prix from the lead. What do you say about that? Lando Norris's dreams of being the 76th Grand Prix of Po winner have just gone up against the barrier at the faux chicane. My heart pours out for him. That is so cruel, but we've seen it before. We've seen it with drivers leading at the Po Grand Prix before. They push so hard, they keep themselves in a rhythm, and just one little thing, one little missed braking point, one little dance with the curb, and it shatters everything. Lando Norris is out of the Po Grand Prix. Maxi Günther leads it from Callum Ilott and Ralph Aaron. He will get the podium if he keeps this going. Maxi Günther, he's looking at the victory now. So now, Joel Eriksson is in 5th position, looking for 10 points. And if it stays like this, the championship battle will be level going to the Hungaroring. Let's see a replay. I think we've got it. Let's have a look. Lando Norris. Oh, he's lost it in the midpoint of the course. Lando Norris has hit the wall and is out of the Po Grand Prix. That is devastatingly bad luck for Carlin. And now it's a Prema 1-2. It's a Prema 1-2 with High-Tech's Ralph Aaron in 3rd position. Prema was saying, we don't have the fastest car in terms of one-lap pace, but we do have street smarts. And they're going to get some big points from this one. The championship fight just took a big, big twist. But Lando Norris is out of the race here at the Po Grand Prix, and that puts Maxi Günther in the lead. All he has to do is just keep going. Maxi Günther's stock is already pretty high as a young driver. He was one of the young drivers that took a trip in the Mercedes Formula One car over the course of the winter. And he is already very much on the books of the Mercedes-AMG Petronas squad as a reserve driver. But there is a genuine chance that they are going to start thinking about the resolve and the character and the maturity of this man. He's leading at the Po Grand Prix, not by much, only 1.6. Callum Ilott is there in 2nd position. 3rd is Ralph Aaron, the Estonian, looking for the podium. And I did say to him, all you've got to do is keep on the track, Ralph, and there's a chance. He said, well, I don't know about that. I'm not sure a podium's going to happen today. Yes, it is, mate. Believe. All you got to do is believe. Harrison Newey in 4th position in front of Joel Eriksson, and Ferdinand Habsburg in 6th position. Tadasuke Makino's having a great run as well in 7th position now. Pedro Piquet in 8th. Jake Dennis is 9th from Guan Yu Zhou in 10th. Then the leading rookie now. The rookie winner is going to be Jahan Darawala. Mick Schumacher in 2nd and Marino Sato in 3rd, in 11th, 12th and 13th. And they are the last 3 home. We've lost Beckman, we've lost Hughes, we've lost Mawson, we've lost Andres, we've lost Mazepin, but most importantly of all, we've lost the man who was dominating, Lando Norris. Well, it happens. It's not the end of it. It's not the be-all and end-all, but if Lando Norris is still in Formula 3 next year, you can bet he's going to do everything in his power to win the Po Grand Prix, but he'll never get a better chance than what he had just then. It happens. He's just got to pick himself up and move on to the Hungaroring and try and win all 3 races there to pick it up. But there's a good shout now between that overtaking move that Jahan Darawala pulled on Mick Schumacher is now absolutely crucial. Because with Lando Norris out and Joey Mawson out, Darawala is going to be the leading rookie. He's going to take the first rookie win of his 2017 season unless Mick Schumacher can get back past him. And at the moment, their battle is a second apart. So that's going to be pretty intense. But here is the battle for 4th position. Harrison Newey and Joel Eriksson with Ferdinand Habsburg trying to close them down. 5 minutes and 20 to go. But it looks good for a Prema team 1-2 at the moment. Maxi Günther in front of Callum Ilott. Ralph Aaron in 3rd from Newey, Eriksson and Habsburg. 5 minutes to go and we're still reeling from the dramatic exit from this Po Grand Prix from the lead for Lando Norris. Just as Callum Ilott did in race 1 yesterday, Lando Norris throws away the biggest race of his life so far. And he will be gutted, he will be devastated, but he will be able to pick himself back up and get it together for the Hungaroring. He's a great driver, he's an incredibly talented kid, and he knows how to rebuild himself when things go wrong. So do not fret, ladies and gents. It's a bit of a heartache, but Lando Norris will be pushing hard, and he will be back, and he will be stronger, better, faster than ever before at the Hungaroring. Fourth position for Newey, fifth for Ericsson, sixth for Habsburg. Just looking back, that's Makino and Pedro Piquet. Ninth place, Jake Dennis, having a very quiet one by his standards. And Guan Yu Zhou is now being caught by Jahan Daruwala. Now, this is an interesting battle to focus in on, because Guan Yu Zhou having a good tussle with Jahan Daruwala. If Daruwala trips up on Guan Yu Zhou, the man behind these guys is going to win the rookie category. There he is, Mick Schumacher. So are we going to say Schumacher wins at Po? And I can tell you, we've never said that before, because Michael Schumacher never won in Formula 3 at Po, because it was never a Po Grand Prix for Formula 3 until 1999, when Benoit Trullier took the first Formula 3 race victory at Po. So are we going to say Schumacher wins at Po, or are we going to say Daruwala wins at Po in the rookie class? Well, we'll find out. But with 3.5 minutes plus a lap to go, this is all on Maxi Günther. Will the pressure get to him now? He leads it, but after his race 2 efforts, he will not want to make one single solitary mistake. He just needs to keep on pushing, keep on going, and he's got a lead now, Maxi Günther, of 1.6 over Callum Millett, his teammate, Ralph Aaron in third. Newey, Ericsson and Habsburg still fairly closely knit together. And here comes Guan Yu Zhou with Jahan Daruwala once again sizing him up for a move, but he's too far back for my money to have a look into Lagar. But if he gets the line right, he might have an opportunity on the run-up to Lycée. He's got a good chance here down the Avenue Lycée. He'll get a good run to Pont Oscar. Through to Pont Oscar, swarming around all over the back of Guan Yu Zhou is definitely going to help Jahan Daruwala's cool, especially when Guan Yu Zhou is swarming around trying to stop him. Jahan Daruwala looks like he's going to be hungry for a move here. Out of the Lycée, round the casino. And up towards Parc Beaumont. Past the Café de Grand Prix they go now. Sweeping through the left-hander, sweeping through the right-hander, and down to the faux chicane. Hold it together, chaps. Beautifully done as Jahan Daruwala continues to follow behind Guan Yu Zhou, but he might not stay there for long. He's got a very interested view of what Guan Yu Zhou is doing. If he doesn't make any more mistakes, there's a good chance. Maxi Günther has been told 3 laps to go, and you've won the Po Grand Prix. Just hang on in there, mate. Callum Millett and Ralph Aaron in second and third position. Ralph Aaron looks like he's going to try one last trick to close up on Callum Millett, but I'm not sure he's going to get there. Third position would be a great return for his efforts, though. The Estonian has been incredibly cool all weekend. He was a little dissatisfied after first qualifying on Friday afternoon, but he said, we'll just get through it, we'll keep on pushing, we'll find ways to improve, we'll find ways to move forward, and that's exactly what he's done. Ralph Aaron has been a pillar of strength this weekend and just coped with whatever has been presented with him with a cool, calm and collected attitude. It's not the end of the world, let's not fret, let's keep pushing. And he's going to be third if he holds it together for another 2.5 laps. Very impressive young driver, Ralph Aaron. Let's not forget, of course, that in the past he was a champion in the Formula 4 Italian Championship back in 2015, so Ralph Aaron knows how to run from the front. And it's great to see him excelling on the streets of Po like this. 2 to go for Maxi Günther. And this is the important moment for him as far as he's concerned. Just reel it in. 2.1 seconds ahead of Callum Millett. Ralph Aaron is trying one last trick to try and get onto the back of Callum Millett. He might be able to do it. Harrison Newey 4th, Joel Eriksson 5th, Habsburg 6th, Makino, Piquet, Dennis and Zhou round out the top 10, with Daruwala still trying to get past him. Mick Schumacher is 12th, Marino Sato is 13th. There are no other runners. Lando Norris out, Mazepin out, Kevin Andres out, Joey Mawson out, Jake Hughes out, David Beckman out. And with 22 seconds to go plus a lap, it's all looking good for Maxi Günther in front of his teammate Callum Millett for a Prema 1-2, and Ralph Aaron, the Estonian, in third position. Callum Millett was in absolute tatters yesterday in race 1, leading and then hitting the barriers. He's not going to win the Po Grand Prix if he stays where he is, but second position is going to be a great return for his efforts after he's been rebuilding himself. He's now pushing in a really fast lap to get away from Ralph Aaron. He's gone half a second quicker than him in the second sector to really hammer it home. You're not going to get second off me today as Maxi Günther goes into the final lap here, and it's going to be a heroic victory for Maxi Günther, who's held his nerve all weekend. He's got the most out of every single opportunity he can. He almost got put into the wall yesterday, don't forget, in the Joey Mawson and Jake Dennis incident. They clattered together, Günther and Dennis, and somehow Günther was able to get the car slowed down. He did a donut, carried on in third position, brought it home. In the earlier race, he was able to respond to a beautiful run off the lights to beat Lando Norris to the first corner. And now, sat behind Lando Norris, he did not miss his concentration. He did not lose faith. He just kept on hammering the laps in, and he's still on the march to go and get the Pau Grand Prix. Just a few more corners. Don't over push it. Very good work so far, Maxi. Round the Avenue de General Pomereux. And down to the Buisson hairpin for the last time. It's been a commanding effort in the end. This weekend, Prema were not necessarily the fastest over one lap, but they have triumphed. Mind over metal. Absolutely brilliant. As out of the final couple of corners, Maxi Günther is going to be the winner. Down the Avenue Gaston Lacoste for the last time, and Maxi Günther has won the 76th Pau Grand Prix. Magnificent! Maxi Günther has done it again. 2 wins this season, and importantly, the Pau Grand Prix. He joins an incredible list of people. He joins Nuvolari, Fangio, Ascari, Berra, Brabham, Clark, Rindt, Stewart. An amazing list of people. And he puts his name on the trophy that everybody wanted this weekend. It's Maxi Günther who wins the 76th Pau Grand Prix from Callum Ilott and Ralph Aaron. Harrison Newey is 4th position. Joel Eriksson is 5th. Maxi, drink it in, my friend. That's going to be one heck of a party. And I bet you there's going to be a phone call from Toto Wolff within a few minutes. I watched, I was impressed. Good boy, good boy. Maxi Günther wins the Pau Grand Prix in fantastic style. Ilott is 2nd, Ralph Aaron is 3rd, Newey is 4th, and with Joel Eriksson in 5th, he scores 10 points, and that means that the Hungaroring, the championship is dead level, so it's reset, and it's all square at the top. But now Maxi Günther is a double winner, and he's closing up on both of them. Maxi Günther is not out of this championship fight yet. If anything, his campaign just got started. And in the rookies race, it is Jahan Daruvala who wins from Mick Schumacher and Marino Sato. More of that in a moment, but here's the result. Günther from Callum Ilott. It's a Prema 1-2. Ralph Aaron in a brilliant, brilliant 3rd place. Harrison Newey 4th from Joel Eriksson and Ferdinand Habsburg rounding out the top 6. Tadasuke Makino from Pedro Piquet. Jake Dennis and Guan Yu Zhou rounds out the top 10. The only 3 finishers after that are all the rookies. Jahan Daruvala, Mick Schumacher 2nd and Marino Sato 3rd in 11th, 12th and 13th respectively. Norris, Mazepin, Andres, Mawson, Hughes and Beckman all failing to finish here on the streets of Pau. What a drama. But that man has earned all of the plaudits from this one. I'm so pleased for him. I'm so happy for Maxi Günther. He's a wonderful, wonderful bloke. And he is a bit like another Schumacher, actually, in terms of the way he enjoys his mode of racing. He is an incredible workhorse. He knows exactly how to get things done, and he knows how to enjoy himself. This win means so much to Maxi Günther, and rightly so. You're going to see an incredibly happy chappy bouncing around in Parfame, but look at what it's done to the championship. Norris, 139, Eriksson, 139, Günther, 137. It's a 3-way title fight, and Callum Illott's not far behind either. Habsburg is now 5th from Mick Schumacher, Ralph Aaron 7th, Newey 8th, Dennis and Daruvala rounding out the top 10. What an incredible title fight this is. 2 points between the top 3 now. And Tadasuke Makino, by the way, in 7th position, scores his first points of the season, so good to see him put his name up on the championship standings. But somebody down in the pit lane is going to be very happy. There is Maxi Günther getting a congratulations from Ralph Aaron, and I think from Callum Ilott as well. Harrison Newey shakes hands with him once more. But Maxi Günther has won the Pau Grand Prix. Yes! That is the moment he's been building up to all weekend. What a performance. What a drive from Maxi Günther. I know that the Brits back home will be feeling so much pain for Lando Norris, but Maxi Günther totally deserves this victory as well. So let's look at how it happened. The third race, the big one, the 76th Po Grand Prix. Tension building before the start, and an incredible race in prospect. Lando Norris got a textbook start and started to pull away in the early stages from Maxi Günther and Callum Ilott. It was an absolutely cracking display. Harrison Newey very nearly throwing it away. Joey Mawson actually doing so, but Harrison Newey running in front of Joel Eriksson, and then that beautiful move from Ralph Aaron. But Lando Norris out in front, throwing it away. Disaster, and that gives the victory to Maxi Günther in front of Callum Ilott and the very impressive Ralph Aaron. But Maxi Günther wins the 76th Po Grand Prix. And what that means now, of course, is that in the championship fight, we've got 3 drivers covered by 2 points. Maxi Günther needed to win this championship this year. Having been the runner-up last year, he would have felt, if I don't win this year, I haven't really done myself a justice. And now he's just 2 points behind Eriksson and Norris, who are dead level in the standings. And this is going to be a mighty campaign when we get to the Hungaroring. And I'm so jealous of whoever is going to be in the seat for the Hungaroring. I'm away elsewhere. But what an amazing championship fight this is now turning into. Eriksson, Norris, Günther, a 3-way fight for the championship, and it's going to be biblically good. So the podium is going to greet some pretty happy drivers out there on the podium. Callum Ilott, I think, will be satisfied with second position, considering how day one ended. I think he can be pleased with that, or at least content. Ralph Aaron in third should be elated, the Estonian, considering that he's been knocking on the door of a good result all weekend. But from 7th on the grid to 3rd, that is pretty impressive stuff, and that really should not be underrated. Ralph Aaron to 3rd position here on the streets of Po is a mighty performance. Maxi Günther, though, reserved, cool, calculated, and incredibly authoritarian out there, has done an amazing job here in the Pyrenees, and he wins the Po Grand Prix. For the 76th running of it, he joins an incredible catalogue of drivers. Even in recent times, he joins some pretty big names, the likes of Jean Alesi, Gilles de Ferran, Jorg Muller, Juan Pablo Montoya, Anthony Davidson, Nicolas Lapierre, Lewis Hamilton, Romain Grosjean, and Formula E star Felix Rosenqvist, Formula 1 reserve and driver Antonio Giovinazzi. This is a big boost to Maxi Günther's career, and it means a lot. It means an awful lot winning the Po Grand Prix. So this is a big one. Of course, the fans are staying put because there's still plenty of races to round off the weekend, but what an absolutely perfect weekend. Perfect performance for Maxi Günther, and a great way to round off his 3rd weekend in the championship. He needed to win. Not only did he win race 2, but he won the big one, the Po Grand Prix. And that means his name is engraved in the list of winners of one of the most prestigious street races in the world of motorsport forever. So now we've got a bit of a pressure cooker in the championship fight as 3 drivers are just 2 points apart, and Callum Ilott is hoping that the Hungaroring is going to be a good one. And there is the happiest man in the Pyrenees. Maxi Günther has done it. Callum Ilott in 2nd place. It's a Prema 1-2, and they're pretty happy about that. And in 3rd position, Ralph Aaron of Estonia. He's happy with that. I told you, Ralph, I told you. Just believe and it will happen. 3 very happy men there on the podium at the Po Grand Prix. And the German national anthem will ring out over the Pyrenees for Maximilian Günther, the 76th winner of the Po Grand Prix.
Voilà, merci à la régie.
Maxi Günther, Callum Ilott and Ralph Aaron atop the podium in fine style. What an absolutely amazing performance this from Maxi Günther, and he joins the incredible list of winners at the Po Grand Prix. Well, Mercedes have already got him on their books. They've already got him very much in mind as a future star. He just took one step closer to being one of the next great German racing drivers. And that's a name you've got to remember for the future. Maxi Günther. What a superb effort. Isn't it amazing? 30 years ago, Germany didn't have many world-class racing drivers to talk about. As soon as Michael Schumacher emerged, they all came at once. And Maxi Günther is the latest to join the ranks, and I definitely can see him as not only a Formula One racer, but a powerhouse of the sport. He can be a great role model for the future of motorsport in general, never mind of German motorsport. Callum Ilott, not a bad effort this weekend, considering where his pace has been. He's been very controlled. He got over race one, hitting the wall, and now he's second in the race, and again, still close to the top end of the point standings. He's banked some good points with a third and a second. So Callum Ilott is still very much in this title fight. A strong Hungaroring, and he'll be right back near the top step. And what about Ralph Aaron? He's been brilliant. The trophy for the Prema team. They win the Pau Grand Prix. The run for Carlin comes to an end. And Prema get their name on the top of the podium as the best team in the Pau Grand Prix. And this guy at the end, Ralph Aaron, I'm so impressed with him today. He has every reason to be delighted, euphoric, ecstatic. The high-tech driver's been absolutely brilliant all weekend, Ralph Aaron, and he's got himself into a very strong position. And third position is well-deserved for the Estonian. So after 9 epic races at the first 3 weekends of the Formula 3 Championship, we go to the Hungaroring on the 3rd weekend in June, and who knows what is going to happen next. Maxi Günther drinks in the moment. Well-deserved. Maxi Günther wins the Pau Grand Prix. And now we've got a 3-way fight for the championship, heading to the Hungaroring on the 3rd week of June. You'd be insane to miss it. From Jake Sanson, thank you and good night from Pau.